Okay. Here we are in the wonderful district of Somerset with some very, very good friends known for many, many years. Dave Grabham, and with Grabham and Carter Motorsports, if you like. Yes. Hills is in the background as well. And we're here, for those of you who don't really know, it's Team Freddys Revenge as well. So I'm with Dave Grabham. Wonderful to be here, thank you very much.
Good to have you here, Nige.
Yep. Now, I believe, because obviously I would have started going to the pod around about 1985, but you was sort of going up there, sort of 1974, that sort of time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, in 1974, at the tender age of 16, I left school and started work at the Western Helicopter Factory in Yeovil in Somerset.
Right.
There's 144 in our intake, so
right.
Actually quite a few of us. I hadn't been there long and I met a guy called Bob Allen. I'm not sure how we befriended each other, but we became friends. Bob was 2 years older than I.
Right.
He'd stayed on his extra 2 years and done his A-levels.
Right.
So he was a little bit more worldly than me.
Right, yeah.
He had a nice 650 trunk Bonneville.
Oh.
I had a little moped.
Moped. Yeah, sweeping the floor with it.
Yeah. One morning I was lying in bed as you do on a Sunday morning. My dad came up and said, "There's some guy called Bob downstairs wants to know if you want to go someplace called Sandapod somewhere." Dad said, "I don't know what he's talking about, you better come down and speak to him."
Right.
So yeah, I came down and Bob said, "You fancy coming to Sandapod for the day?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And
yeah.
hopped in his mum's Austin 1100 and off we went.
Yeah, was that from down this way, obviously?
Yeah,
down here.
About sort of 10 miles away from here, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was your first sort of taste of, well, in them days it was sort of early pod really, wasn't it? So yeah, so memories from that sort of time?
Memories from that, the 1976 Easter meeting where Don Garlett's came over. Yeah. And Pete Crane ran the first 5-second run.
Yeah.
But memorable for me is I'd had a motorcycle accident a month before on the back of Bob's bike. Actually, someone ran inside of us and my left leg was plastered from my hip right down to my toes. Oh. So we spent a weekend camping at Santapod, literally plastered.
Oh, so went you out Wellington Hospital and that for that, was it? Oh.
No, that was down at Yeovil. That was
down here, right.
Just outside of work, that was.
Wow, flipping heck. It don't stop you, does it?
No.
So, and then obviously the Don Garletts and all that sort of stuff. So you then started to build up a really nice interest with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Went to the World Finals in '79, which was the Beetle and Snow meeting, the funny car meeting. Yeah. Which was some awesome racing. Yeah. Remember taking 2.5 hours to get to the car park.
Yeah, I bet in them days. Yeah.
It's a long day that was.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So and then obviously I think Dennis Priddle worked at Western as well.
Dennis worked at Western at one time, as did Barry Duffy, his crew chief.
Right, yeah.
They both left long before I started there, but yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember Mr. Priddle coming into the studios with a really, really strong Somerset accent. It was amazing. Yeah, so he was a lovely guy. And, so from there, you then got the real big buzz for it, and you decided that you wanted to do your own thing.
Yeah. So we went to the Easter 1984 meeting, where unfortunately that was the meeting we lost Alan Rittmeisters, which I think was a meeting after Bootsy was killed in November '83. Yeah. I'm either in the programme or the drag racing news at that meeting, and there was an advert for a partially built competition authored chassis. Right.
So you got that?
So I had to think about that one, went back to work the day after and was talking to one of my friends. He said, "When are we going to get it then?"
Amazing. So just the chassis to start with, and then...
So we headed up to, I call it London, but I think it was Hayes or somewhere like that.
Yeah, Middlesex, yeah.
And met a guy who I now know to be Johnny Hall.
Right.
And bought this sort of part-built chassis out from him. It was a square box tube chassis rather than a round tube chassis. Came with a Jaguar back axle and sprung front axle. It also came with a Daimler Hemi engine, a top Lino body and a Model T body.
Wow.
So we dragged that lot back down from Hayes down to Somerset.
Then you had to get the wheels and the tyres.
Get some wheels and tyres and a steering box. And that's when I met people like John Powis, who lived sort of 20 miles away, the late John Powis. Bought bought some bits and pieces off of him. Met Herb Andrews, bought some few brake hoses. And
Yeah,
few
been
bits
well,
and pieces
mate.
off of Herb.
Hello, Herb.
So,
How are you, mate?
yeah, so
Yeah.
known Herb sort of 40 years now.
Yeah.
So sadly, John's left us.
Yeah. Because obviously you got some bits from Tony Betts as well at some point.
That was in later years.
Later years, yeah, talk about that later. So yes, so Herb's been doing it a long time as well. So from that motor, so what was you running class-wise with that motor?
We bought the Daimler engine. I sold to a guy called Boyd Pierce Reed, who put that motor in a 1970s Opel Manta, the Daimler Hemi. And I went and bought a 283 Chevy with a 2-speed power glide, which we put in our chassis.
Mm-hmm. Good. So exciting times.
Yeah.
You're not adverse to being on spanners and things like that. That's your forte, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So moving on from that, where did you then decide you wanted to take your career in drag racing?
Well, Easter '84 was when we first made the car move under its own power.
Mm-hmm.
Down at that time it was a disused Hilton airfield. It's now RNAS Yeovilton,
Right.
and they've actually been flying sorties there the last few weeks. And then on Easter Sunday, which would have been exactly 40 years ago tomorrow, I got my first timing ticket at Santa Pod.
Right.
It was a lowly 16 seconds run, which we made a bit of a schoolboy error.
Mm-hmm.
But we got my licence signed off to be able to race on the Monday.
And then
And just for a change, it rained on the Monday.
rained.
So
Oh
packed
yeah.
up and came home again.
Oh bless. So and then you stayed with the same car. And did you do any more that season, or?
Yeah, we did the inaugural meeting at Bitterswell.
Hmm.
We did that one, and it's quite a long tow back from Bitterswell.
Yeah.
We raced at Long Marston, which I've got a bit of a funny anecdote to tell you about in a minute.
Yeah.
And then we did what was the World Finals at 85 at Santa Pod.
Yeah.
And we actually won Comp Bracket 4 at the World Finals.
That's an old car. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Nice time for you then. So you've been running your car for a little while, and then you go and get a nice title at the end of the season.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's
And
good.
we ran that chassis till about 1990,
Right.
when we went to the pod, and Knut Söderqvist had a part-built chassis for sale,
Right.
and we were led to believe that the material was cut and tacked together by Roland Pratt and Mike Derry of Hillbillies fame.
Mm-hmm.
John Tebbett was alleged to weld it up, but I spoke to John about it and he says no, it wasn't him.
No. Mm. Oh dear. So that was. Because Canute was around then, wasn't he? Yep.
So we transferred the running gear into the new tube chassis.
Yeah.
The old chassis was sold to a guy, I think his name was John Mealy. Roy Welding actually came down and collected that chassis, if I remember correctly.
Right. So, people don't realise what he goes in building a race car for dragster, well, any race car, but all the scrutineering that has to go on, it has to be so safe and everything else. So it is a key job building race cars.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've had good people around you that have built the bits and everything else.
Yep, generally people from an engineering background, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So from that moment onwards, after that year, you started to change the car. And where did you take it then?
We built the A35
Yeah.
fiberglass body. A guy called Steve Woodley was fairly instrumental in building that for me.
Yeah.
So you may know Steve, he runs a rather pretty little Ford Roadster, Ford Coupe,
Yeah.
the nostalgia drags. Yeah.
Yeah.
We built that with some help from a guy called Beavis Allen, who again you may know. He runs a big 59 Chevy Impala, big red Impala, the blower, and a friend of mine called Rob Cook. So we built that
Rob
body.
Cook, yeah. Yeah, got that. And what was you running in that class? Was that Nostalgia then? Nostalgia, or was it?
We're running the Santa Pod, what they call modified ET class in those days.
Okay, in those days, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's good. And so that's a great body. I always remember that body. That's amazing. And so what took you to not where you are now, but the exciting things that you've had since then, with your career and building the cars and everything else? Have you always been with the Carters, or have you just, is it over the last sort of 20 or 30 years that you've been with the Carters?
There is a fairly recent addition, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about the people that you work with, supported you, built stuff for you, do you want to mention some names?
Yeah, there's a guy called Jim Isaacs who lived in Crewkern again, just down the road, who decided that with me that we were going to go the blown route to try and get a bit more power. So we bought an 871 Mooneyham blower and built a fuel system and tried to play with that.
Yeah, all right with that?
Yeah. Jim and I were lucky to go across to the States in November '97, went to the World Finals in Pomona with a gang which included Ollie Byrne and Jim Seward and a few others. Went to watch that meeting. While I was away in the States, the guy TC came down to work at our local garage in the village.
Right.
TC and his family lived in Battle in Sussex.
Right, yeah, remember that.
And TC would come down on a Sunday evening from Battle, sleep in a caravan at the back of the garage, and then go back home again on a Friday night.
Good boy, isn't he?
Nick, the garage owner at the time, introduced me to TC, saying, you know, TC used to be interested in drag racing, I think you two will get on.
Yeah.
So we did. So, you know, a couple of evenings a week, TC and I would he'd come up to my house and we'd have a couple of beers and sit and watch some racing on the telly and stuff like that.
Yeah, back in videos in them days, wasn't it? Hey? I
was living on my own in a 4-bedroom house, so I said to TC, why don't you move out the caravan and have one of the rooms in the house, like.
Yeah. Cool, yeah.
He had his reasons at the time for not moving down permanently. It was sort of sons and daughters at school and colleges and things, so that had to take his natural course before making move down.
Yeah, and then they came down this way eventually, yeah?
Early in '98, TC said to me, do you want to come up to Battle to spend the weekend, early May bank holiday with us in Battle? I said, yeah, I'd love to. He said, there's a festival transport on that weekend called the Bexhill Festival of Motoring. It's held on Bexhill Seafront. I mean, you may or may not know it, but Bexhill on Sea is a home for British motor racing.
Yes, they do speed trials there, didn't they? And Brighton was another one, wasn't it? Yeah.
The first ever motor race in this country took place on Bexhill Seafront in 1902.
Wow.
It was won by a guy called Léon Servenet, a French guy. Won it in a car called the Egg, which was a steam-powered vehicle.
Physical 1902, yeah.
So a group of people got together and decided to hold this Bexhill 100 festival every year to celebrate that. So I said to TC, I said, if we're going to a car show, why don't we put together a dummy engine, put in the car and take the car and show it? Because at the time we'd broken the engine.
Idea, yeah.
He says, can't we find enough bits to put together an engine that'll run and we go up and we'll make some noise?
Why not?
So we put an engine together, not knowing if it would run or not, dragged it up to Bexhill on Sea behind my mate Jim's trusty old CF Bedford camper van. Parked in someone's drive overnight and went to the car show. We were in like a demonstration class which included Martin Hill and Spider with a Fire Force car.
Yeah.
Paul Hencher with a Pop and Tony Baker with a Talk of the Devil funny car.
Yeah.
So yes, our motor did run. And we were doing some burnouts on the seafront, making some smoke,
run the
making
car.
some noise. Yeah, Martin ran the jet car as well on the seafront.
Yeah.
I think it woke up a few pensioners.
Yeah, I should imagine blew some windows out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. Yeah, I know you've always been a keen photographer as well. So you love doing this sort of thing, taking the photos and everything else. You know, whether it's up in the sky, on the ground. You know. Yeah. So these sort of shows and that were ideal for you, really.
At that show, there was a young lady called Hills marshalling our section.
You what? Yeah, go on.
So that's sort of how we met.
Yeah.
Hills was looking after our section and our car and things for us.
I'm sure. Yeah.
We got an invitation to go back the following year, which would have been, say, 99. Shortly after that meeting, Hills got some official photos and sent to me.
Well, not of you, just of the The show.
The car, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So we
I like to clear these things up.
so we yeah. So yeah, we started communicating. It was snail mail in those days, letters, and
Yeah. Yeah, Bakelite phone to ring each other. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. So.
And we went back again in the year 2000 for the show, and Hills and I were talking most of the weekend.
Yeah.
On the Monday, just as the show was drawing to a close, we had an ice cream on the seafront, didn't we? And
The rest is history.
the rest is history, as they say.
Wow. Where was you living then?
I lived in Bexhill.
Bexhill?
I was a painter and decorator down in Bexhill.
Right, yeah.
And the more we got chatting, the more we realised that we'd got similar interests. He was both into music and brass bands, we were both into steam engines, we were both into warbirds and drag racing, and it just flourished from there, didn't it?
There we are.
And
I never knew that, you see.
By October 2000, we got so fed up with doing the 180-mile drive each end of the weekend. I decided to move down, so I just left my business and moved down to Somerset.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
I proposed on the end of December in the Millennium Dome. Not sure it was the 30th or 31st of December. One of the last days when the exhibition was on in the Millennium Dome.
Yeah.
Before it transferred to what it is now.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
And I actually proposed. There was a thing that flashed around, digital thing on the wall, and there's the Hills, will you marry me?
Oh, bless you. That's romantic, isn't it? Could have been on the back of a plane, couldn't it?
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. How nice. And what did you do? You say no?
I said yes, but I didn't actually reply on the thing, did I? I said yes to him, but didn't pick up. So nobody else knew. But,
So we got married in July 21, down the local chapel, which is literally walking distance from our house.
Yeah.
We had Roxy Hills' hot rod. We drove that to our reception, which we held at the Oval Railway Centre.
Yeah.
Had the steam engine, we drove the steam engine.
Yeah. Hills donned her safety boots instead of her wedding shoes, and I drove the steam train, and Hills fired it for the first trip with all our wedding guests on the brake vans.
Ah, see. Yeah.
We had Freddie down there on display. We fired up mid-afternoon to surprised a few of our guests who'd never seen her or anything like it before.
No. Or heard it. No, exactly. Wow. Yeah. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Then we hopped on a train, headed to Paris.
Yep. And then, like you say, the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah. Freddys got bigger and better, and bigger and bigger and better and better, hasn't she? So,
Yeah, definitely.
As TC's family sort of grew up and left home,
Yeah.
TC and Steph moved down to bought this house here.
Yeah. Right round the corner from me, really.
Yeah. This was a pair of tin sheds here when TC moved in. So
Yeah. And now I'm looking
we
at
had this workshop built in 2017, I think this workshop was built.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's ideal. Room to park the truck outside.
Yeah, that's good. I forgot that truck, because you've got the awning on it and everything, haven't you?
Yeah.
Cool. So, where are we moving on? Where do you want to move on to now? I mean, obviously you've done a little bit of the history, you're building the cars and everything else, and then you tested different stuff. So, obviously with Freddie, everyone knows Freddys, the Freddie car. Excuse me. So, let's have a chat about, unless you want to talk about other people, but your memories and your good memories that you've had throughout your time, crewing and helping people, and obviously you're driving yourself.
Yeah, back in, I think, 2005, Laurie Gatehouse and Ollie Byrne, both late people now, got together and formed the Nostalgia Fuel Altered Association.
That's it, yeah.
And we decided we wanted to be part of that. Our chassis really wasn't current, so we commissioned the late guy called Phil Cornish.
He was this way.
He was down in Dorset.
Yeah.
He was crew chief for Clive Skilton.
Hmm.
He said if we bought the tube, he'd build a chassis for us. So in 2005, we picked up the chassis from Phil. Took a little bit longer than we'd hoped to build it, but yeah, that arrived here, and
took it from there. Has that always been, this one here, has that always been the original Topolino body?
This is the original Topolino body, this was a brand new body, still in gel coat, and we acquired it, cut it in half down the middle, took 6 inches out of the width, glued it back together again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we had a new chassis. Rob's was of the age then, he was early teens where he wanted to get involved, so he actually started helping out and he's stayed on ever since. So,
yeah, and then he now drives as well.
Yeah.
For a young lad, what was the age when he started to drive the car? Was he about 20s, 22, something like that?
You can drive your junior from about 8, I think.
Yeah. But what about Rob when he was driving?
When he was driving,
the 20s?
He took on in 2014.
2014, so he was 23.
23, yeah.
I broke my hip January 2014. Just fell over coming home from work one day. Wasn't drunk.
No.
But yeah, fell over, broke my hip. So there's no way I was going to drive for a few months.
Yeah.
The pressure it takes on my left to push that clutch in. So we decided to license Rob's.
Yeah, I guess he would have had to have gone through all the scrutineering and LCD track and doing different passes and everything else.
60 burnout, 60 foot.
Yeah,
half track.
And
the full pass. I think his full pass was 7.8 seconds, if I remember rightly. Took about 3 meetings due to weather and other issues. I think we did the Easter Thunderball, Dragstalgia, and I think the Hot Rod Drags that year he got his licence signed off.
And then I guess from there, he would have done single shots, but then obviously doing a pairing as well.
Yeah.
Because he's now got here. He's been one of the fastest in this, hasn't he? Rob now, yeah.
He's gone faster than I have. He's had more success than I have.
Shocking, absolutely shocking that. But no, I mean, Dave, you know, like I've always known you in Freddie, and strong racer, serious racer, and you've very, very welcoming for everyone in that comes and sees you, and everything. A great team, and it's always been, anyone could come and chat to you, and you're always having a chat. Sometimes anywhere in the pits at Santa Pod, people are busy, then they haven't got time, but people do appreciate that, and and you've always been very welcoming.
I did pull away from working on the car a little bit, so I could actually do that. Spend the time with people,
Yeah, that's all right. That's good, though. I mean, you've always been great, chatting about the car and everything else. So, moving on then to where you are now. So, the late and early 2000s, 2014s, and so. Where did you take that on from then? With the different shapes, obviously from the Fuel Auto Association and so on. I mean, you was racing the likes of Apache and all of them guys.
Yeah. We still do take a plastic knife to a gunfight on the Dragstalgia.
Yeah, I had that conversation with when I did a podcast with Tony Betts a couple of weeks ago about he's always chasing the Apache, and I went, is it a cowboy thing then, is it? Yeah, but no, I mean, he's been doing well with that, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's 2 trophies set up in the cupboard up there. That's Dragstalgia trophies, runner-up, both times to Apache. One with me driving, and I won Driver of the Year, Driver of the Event trophy for that. And the second trophy is Rob's. Mine's from 2021, Rob's is from 2023, again, runner-up to Apache, and winning the Driving Job of the Weekend award.
Exactly. Brilliant, yeah. So Apache's been out there a long time now. So you're not racing in the fewer the funny car class now.
No.
So you're just doing the nostalgia stuff now.
Yeah, the 3 nostalgia meetings, nostalgia nationals, Dragstalgia, Hot Rod Drags.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant, yeah.
We race as part of the Supercharged Outlaws in Nostalgia Nationals and Hot Rod Drags, and we race in Nostalgia Cannonball at the Cannonball event.
Yeah, Cannonball. Been going many years, Cannonball, different classes, isn't it? Yeah, so let's talk about some more of your memories, people that you want to mention.
A couple of real bad memories, really. The wheelie in
the wheelie.
Yeah, 2006. I think you were actually helping us out on the team at that weekend, weren't you, if I remember rightly?
Was it my fault?
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but...
No. Did
outfits.
I? Did I? With the outfits? Oh, wow, I like that. Did I make some suggestions? Gosh, I don't remember. I must have done something wrong with the spanner when it went up in the air then, didn't it? No, I remember that.
You were a tow car driver, I think, that weekend.
Oh, that's right, you used my car, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or the truck. No, you used the truck. Was it the truck? No, Shockwave used my truck. No, I pulled my car, wasn't it? Yeah, my car, yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah. So that was...
That's a bit of a downer for us.
That was a downer.
Yeah.
Because there was a fair bit of damage as well then, wasn't there? Fair?
Yeah, Andy Robinson put a new front end on there for us.
Yeah.
And a couple of years later we took it up to Haynes Museum on the demo track and put it into the tyre barrier through over-exuberance on the driver's part.
That's round here, isn't it, Haynes Museum? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's 10 mile up the road, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the tyre wall was faced with stones and rubble at the back, and it was quite hard.
No, so that, I mean, I remember that happening, but what
Fuel
did you...
tank sat up on the wall over there,
Yeah.
and the wing that stuffed in the fuel tank sat there.
The, do you know what caused that then, for it to stand up like it did? No wheelie bar or something?
We didn't have wheelie bar, we
Yeah.
didn't even consider the fact that it was going to wheel stand, we didn't think it had the power.
Certainly did.
Didn't even consider it.
Hey, you thought you was going Concord, didn't you, really, at the time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been something else. And I guess when the car's going out of shape like that, there's not a lot you can do about it, just try and hold it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And stop it. Yeah. So, do you have, you know, when something like that happens, does it still run through your mind, or is it gone now, really?
No, it's gone really.
Yeah. Because you moved on from there and rebuilt it and went again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else? Any other memories? Good, bad memories?
No, good memories. We ran our first six in 2022. Rob's ran 6.97, which is his first six and first six for the car on the team.
Yeah. We was at one of them meetings myself and Liz, I think. Yeah.
And then last year, 2024, we ran 198.98 miles an hour, which is the fastest we've ever gone as well.
And that's with the Avenger body, wasn't it?
No, that's with the Topolino body as well.
Topolino body,
Yeah.
Right.
We have run 198 with the Avenger body,
Yeah.
196 mile an hour with the A35, 198 with the Avenger, 198 with this one. So next goal's 200.
200, yeah. So take the sandbag out the back then and you'll be alright, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do the job.
Yeah.
So,
Obviously my goals is I'd like to get back in and drive again if Rob will let me.
yeah,
I've
So
still
what
got the
have you
hankering for a six and I've still got the hankering for 200 mile an hour.
yeah, so, and what's the chances of that for you? A good chance?
Ask the boss and see what he says.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, you feel like you want to do it? Yeah. It's like jumping into, you know, like, you know, there's an office, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, where everything is. Except for the post-it notes, so Hills leaves on the windscreen and stuff, but apart from that, yeah. So, yes, they still want to have another go then?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's all right. Yeah, good. So, moving on then. Where are we with the car now? You're waiting for bits from the States?
Waiting for some pistons at the States at the moment, yeah.
And then they'll be here shortly, and your first meeting, hopefully?
Nostalgia Nationals at the early May bank holiday weekend.
Excellent. So, you know, it's, I just love you guys, always have done. You know, and I can't say too much, one of the reasons why I love you, but anyway, I'm not allowed, it'll get banned. But no, you know, you guys have always been very, very supportive as to what I did on the radio and stuff like that, and you know, always appreciate your support and everything else. So what have we got now? So Robbie's we've done as well. Yes, I know we're okay, really. So thank you so much. Great to see you guys. Yeah.
Nice to see you guys too.
And the Hills as well. Is there anything else you want to add? Thank anybody, or you know, for their help?
Obviously TC, Steph,
Yeah.
and Joe, who's
Now in Perth.
In Perth, yeah.
Yeah.
And
There was two front end girls, wasn't there? There was yourself
Yeah,
and Joe. Yeah. And Rob used to do it as well.
Yeah, and Rob's brother Chris.
Chris, yeah, Chris Graham as well, of course. Yeah, Chris, yeah. Everyone's all right.
Chris and Sarah and the two granddaughters. Lumen turns 12 in that May Bank Holiday weekend, May the 4th. She's a Star Wars baby, same birthday as John Force.
Wow.
Not quite as old as John Force, but same birthday.
No one's as old as John Force, are they?
She's learning the parachute now, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, well, we may see them, may not, but hello to Steph and TC, wonderful people. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thanks to Dave for filming the ensemble here and whatever. So just quickly then, so you're still doing your brass band?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a military band now, isn't it?
A military band, is it? Yeah. So you have to wear all the uniform and all that.
Yeah, we play with the Royal Naval Volunteer Band.
Wow.
Up in their uniforms, yeah.
And obviously you're still up the road with the railway.
Still playing the railway. You did last Sunday, didn't you?
Yeah, I was.
And on Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So that's good. No, we popped in there on the way down.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, went backwards and forwards. That was nice. So yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
See, you never know. We might take you for a beer before we're allowed. I don't know. But so yeah, so no, it's really really lovely. So thank you, Dave Grabham, Hills Grabham, Dave. Thank you very much indeed, and Stefan and obviously TC for the use of their and obviously your garage. Amazing. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.